Hi, this is Mark from Skyway University doing another owner interview on a particularly nice 97 Aviat Husky A1. The owner has agreed to come and show us the plane, and we're going to talk directly to him. He's a bit camera shy and a bit timid, but we'll see if we can encourage him out. Juan Browne!
Hey Mark, good to see you.
From Blancoleria.
That's right.
Thanks for coming over and bringing it.
Sure. So have you done your homework on the Huskies before
I've read
this
up
episode?
a little bit on them.
Good.
You are the owner and I'm the interviewer.
Okay, good. Because that's the neat thing about your channel is you've got all the details.
Okay.
So this is a 1997 Aviat Husky. The name Husky is the design of the aircraft. The reason the Husky came about was really a change in material science. Aerobatic competition aircraft. At the time, the Aviat company was building the Pitts Specials.
Oh yeah.
And then what happened to the Pitts Specials? The monoplanes became super competitive on the circuit.
The extras.
The extras, that sort of thing, with the carbon fiber spars and that sort of thing. So Aviat was looking for something else to do. They wanted to buy the rights to build the Super Cub, but it was $1 million to get the type certificate from Piper for the Super Cub. So they said, well, we'll go back from scratch and build something a little huskier. We'll take something a little bigger, they'll take all the features that they like about the Super Cub and remove the features they don't like, and they designed the Aviat Husky.
Do you think some Super Cub owners might be a little bit biased watching this?
Oh yeah, everybody's in their trenches, and there's no moving anybody
right
from their trenches one way or another. So in the end, they ended up with an aircraft that was a bit faster than the Super Cub. It was a little bit heavier duty, but a more of a general purpose cross-country utility aircraft.
And with these late model planes, like, you know, we're in the 90s here. For me, I'm used to all the 60s, 70s, and then the Carbon Cubs and the new Huskies. Has the Carbon Cub is now, they're like much more equal than they were when this was designed to replace a Super Cub.
The Carbon Cubs are equal to what?
Huskies.
No, the Carbon Cubs are in a league of their own. They are the ultralight. It's like a dirt bike versus a dual sport bike. The Carbon Cubs are, at least the super sport models, are specifically designed to be super lightweight, super short field landing characteristic type aircraft, whereas the Husky is a more all-around utility purpose style airplane.
Oh, okay.
So you're talking like a Carbon Cub, you could get 200-foot takeoff and landing distances with some practice. You're still talking 300 to 400 feet in a Husky.
Okay.
Takeoff landing distances.
Cut.
So one of the big differences on the early model Huskies are the wing. This is the original wing style, and you see the spade from the ailerons. That's a throw over from the aerobatic competition days, and it's kind of like power steering for your ailerons. It's aerodynamic.
So for people who don't understand that, the air load hits this and pushes up on the aileron, making the aileron lighter.
Exactly.
So why did they get rid of it?
Well, they went with a different wing design. It's the same basic airfoil, but they went with a wing design that has now longer flaps and a shorter ailerons. They wanted to get more flap out of it, and so they made a shorter span aileron but a deeper chord aileron with a freeze style aileron, so that instead of being rounded up here, it's got that sharp edge, so it does effectively the same thing as the spade.
So that's what the 182 to the 206 did. Longer flap, wider fries aileron. Yeah, good, excellent.
So they get more flaps out of that.
This chord on it, is the chord similar to a Cub?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a faster wing.
It's a very light wing loading. The whole design of the airplane is faster than the Cub. These will toot along about 120 miles per hour.
Burning?
About 8 gallons per hour. It's 180 horse Lycoming.
Okay, so I was
with the
going to ask
constant
you.
speed prop.
So we'll go and look over at the engine soon once we work our way around it. But then, let's see, back here. Big tail wheel?
Yeah, this is the large tail wheel. Usually a Scott 3200 comes stock, and these larger tail wheels are great for gravel bars and that sort of thing, but otherwise kind of unnecessary, and they do tend to shimmy more than a Scott 3200. Now, for gross weight on this A1, the gross weight is only 1,800 pounds gross weight. The empty weight's 1,300 pounds, so that's only a useful load of about, what, 500 pounds. Yeah. We got 50 gallons of fuel on board of this thing.
Times 6, 300.
So there's 300. Yeah. So there's technically room for you and 20 pounds of baggage.
Well, 2 of me.
2 of you, 1 of me. And there are some modifications you can do from the factory to increase that gross weight slightly here on the tail on these early model Huskies. Later model Huskies now have considerably higher gross weights than this.
What did they do to them to make them carry more weight?
They build the aircraft a little bigger and heavier, and the structure, overall structure, is a little bit heavier, and it also involves changes to the tail back here, to the structure.
So around here on the left side, these attach points, which look similar to the gear, that is the float kit on a Husky, where the floats would attach. And it's got a baggage door. Show us how
Well,
that
this
works.
is not exactly a baggage door on the A1. This is a maintenance access door. So one of the things about the early A1s is they have no baggage door. So you got to hop your baggage over the back seat. And this is an access panel to get to your battery, as you say, Mark.
Battery.
With two D's. Good. You're learning right down here. And then you can get this aftermarket bag here to add additional baggage space back here. And this bag comes down to about here, and it goes back to about here.
So what's the weight limit there?
About 20 pounds.
Keep it
So
light,
throw your sleeping bags and that sort of thing back in
stuff.
there. Soft stuff. Yeah, and that opens up a lot of room for that bulky stuff to put in the rest of your baggage compartment here. So when I go adventuring on this thing, I treat it like an adventure bike motorcycle ride, and I keep it down to about 30 pounds of baggage and hit the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the flap hinges seem strange. Tell us about that.
Head scalpers right here. The early history of Aviat aircraft was involved with Call Air. Do you remember a crop duster called the Call Air crop duster?
Yeah.
If you look on an old Call Air crop duster, you'll see these exact same flap hinges, and it gives you kind of a Fowler flap design. It brings the flaps down and out nearly simultaneously, but they're real head scalpers, so that's why they're marked, and these rubber donuts are here.
What's pulling the flap back up?
Springs.
Just a spring. So if they were sitting out in the snow, they'd droop. Okay.
Yep.
And these things are literally just to protect your head.
That's right, and you will bang your head on there.
Yeah. Even though they're red and white. So under the hood, there is a Lycoming O. So remember, O is opposed. 360 cubic inch, 180 horsepower engine. It's exactly the same engine that's in a Mooney M20C, with some upgrades, modernizations, and differences. Juan, tell us about the whole combo and that prop.
Well, this was a big difference from the Super Cub you were asking earlier, as this was originally designed for this engine, the 180 horse with the constant speed prop. Normally these come with the metal propeller, but this one's been modified, or not modified, but they've added this prop, the Hartzel Trailblazer composite prop. An excellent combination, lightweight, powerful propeller.
How much
really
lighter is that than the aluminum equivalent?
Ooh, good question, don't know.
If it was, on different planes, it's as much as 17 pounds. I don't know what it would be on this, but it's a lot. It's very revvy, right?
Yeah, it reacts quickly.
And when you shut it down, it just whoop.
And lightweight,
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Yeah, excellent propeller, excellent combination.
2,000 hour TBO, 8 gallons an hour, ultra reliable, carbureted.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Carbureted's good out in the bush. It just starts easier for a hot
There's
start.
none of the electrics, the injected forehand shuffle.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay, great.
Yeah. You do want to watch your cylinder head temperatures on these climbing out at full power. There are some kits you can add in here for some additional baffling to help you control those cylinder head temperatures, but you do want to monitor that on the climb out.
Does this have its induction go right through the sump?
The air is coming right through the top of the cylinders and down through here like this.
But the tubes that the
The
air
tubes do come right through here. You can see through the oil sump right there.
Yeah, so in carbureted Moonies with this same engine in them, they get hot because the air goes through this inside of the sump. It's not exactly getting cooling before it gets to be burnt. So yeah, that's a very similar thing to on a Mooney with this engine. But if you manage it correctly, it's never going to be an issue.
Oil cooler located right here. In the wintertime, you can block that off and keep that oil temperature warm.
Okay.
And it's picking up right there at the back of the baffle.
So how much, this is fiberglass, metal.
Yep.
So it's metal back to behind the cockpit and then
That's correct.
everything
And then
else fabric and all control surface is fabric. Okay, yeah.
That's correct. Yep. And of course, all metal wing, aluminum spars, and
Yeah, good.
robust
And the
design.
gear, so it's on 29-inch Alaska bush wheels. Is that gear the standard length, or is that a long?
This is standard length gear.
Okay.
With the Cleveland wheels and brakes. The Huskies come already approved for all kind of sizes of tires, or you can get the STC from Alaska bush wheels.
And is it the good old bungee system?
Good old bungee system located right up in here, and that's another aerodynamic cleanup design over the Super Cub, is there's no draggy bungee cords hanging out here. They put the bungees up in there.
All right. And they can take a lot of abuse.
Oh yeah, I've got that wingtip this close.
Don't say that kind of thing. The FAA is watching.
And this was full extension.
So of course, similar to a lot of smaller tail draggers, it's a little bit of a trick getting in and out of them. Juan, if you want to show us how it's done professionally.
We'll demo the front seat there. I'm not sure how the back seat goes yet. This, by the way, this neat new jacket from Flight Outfitters just came to us as part of the Stoll Drag.
Look at that.
Yeah, this is really custom. Got my name on it. Look at that.
Yeah.
We're heading to
the get one of those.
Mayday Stoll Drags here soon. So right there on these big wheels, put my knee on there like that. Set your butt right there. Later models, this is opened up a little bit more. An important point on the Husky is the trim tab system we'll talk about in a minute, but you got to roll it forward, get the stick out of the way so that you can get your foot in there and slide on in. Now once you're in, it's a super comfortable ride, but it's a little bit of a trick getting in and out.
Can you fly it with the doors open like that?
Oh yeah, yep. It's really windy for the guy in the back. That's an excellent combination right there.
And the other side window?
And this side window open like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So one of the things on the tail here, one of the aerodynamic cleanups, you'll notice is there's no trim tab.
Right.
It's all cleaned up. So instead they went with a bungee cord trim system, which they've gotten away from. The late model Huskies now have a traditional trim tab, because you are kind of fighting the bungee trim system in the Husky. A series of springs, I'll show you with the trim tab, is what moves the stick and adjusts the trim for you.
So what moves? The whole horizontal and elevator?
The springs move the cables between the stick.
Just to reduce load. It doesn't move the whole surface.
It will pull the whole stick back and the whole elevator back as well. In fact, if you watch from here, and then we'll show you inside.
Yeah. Probably like a Mooney M20C or E.
There's full nose up trim right there.
Oh, I see.
With the stick all by itself.
So it's preloading it. This stays
preloading it, yes.
Okay.
And there's full nose down trim right there. And so for takeoff, you're setting the trim right about there. And then you've got this fairly narrow range of motion where you're not fighting the spring so much.
So the trim is moving the range of motion into a new range. Okay.
That's where people will say they don't like fighting the trim on the Husky, because you do come up against these springs.
And to get newer than that, when did it get a trim tab?
I don't know. It's I think fairly recent, but I'm not sure. You're supposed to do that research.
Maybe, hey.
We'll have to call Aviat. You can always call Aviat. Okay, so from here in the cockpit, again, elevator trim nose up, there's that stick right there nearly in your lap. And when you come into flare for a real short field landing, you're gonna want that elevator trim all the way back there so you can get that full stall stick all the way back in your lap without fighting it. Neutral for takeoff, nose down for getting in and out of the aircraft. And so again, see how the stick moves with the trim. So it's moving the whole elevator range.
So a little bit of back history on this particular plane that you were telling me earlier. What happened there?
Well, this is why I bought this airplane, because I knew this airplane when it was brand new. It was bought by Bart Reeby, who owns Reeby's Automotive, Napa Auto Parts stores all throughout the region here back in 1997. And he owned it for at least 20 years, put 2,000 hours on it, and I watched it fly and get maintained at the same shop for all those years at our local airport. And then it switched owners, and then it was damaged in a landing incident, and then I found it for sale just 2 years ago, getting rebuilt with this new paint job and right wing following that damage. But while Bart Reeby owned this airplane, his dad, Del Reeby, is an old friend of Chuck Yeager, General Chuck Yeager, famous for breaking the speed of sound. Chuck Yeager has lived up here in the Grass Valley area for many, many years. So Jaeger used to fly this aircraft quite a bit. He would,
oh, did he?
Yeah, he would borrow it from the family and flew it for many years. And then eventually he ended up buying his own Aviat Husky, an A1B, and that's the one you see with the little Bell X1 painted on the cowl line.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So she's got a little bit of history to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is the early model instrument panel. I like it because it's a lower panel. Later model Huskies have taller panels to accommodate the big glass screen modern day avionics. But I like, for me, this traditional 6-pack display. This whole panel pops out here anytime you got to work on the instrument panel. And then your standard Piper gauges here. Good old analog stuff that's I'm familiar with.
That's what we were raised on.
That's right. Over here, you got your flap handle. 1, 2, 3 notches of flaps right there. And there's your flap speed, a little over 73 or so miles per hour, the white arc right there.
What is the 3-point touchdown kind of short field number you're looking for? Speed.
For speed-wise, so you know, you can fly your pattern around 65 indicated, 60 on final, and you can get it down to 55. And then if you really want to do a high AOA, get on the power, that airspeed's going to drop way down there before you get the full stall if you're coming in way behind the power curve and power on. So
and with the big tires, the nose is already high. Is the attitude right?
They're right. So you can just get that 3-point attitude, and then you typically kind of just smash it on, and then you can roll that up on the mains from there, dump the flaps and get on the brakes, and get your shortest field landings that way.
So without wearing out these expensive tires, should we take it around the pattern and do a takeoff and landing?
We could do that. It's full fuel right now, so I'm kind of
That's all right.
overweight on the fuel.
We'll just let the viewers know that it's capable of more.
Yeah, and I might have some B-roll footage of that as well. Look at that.
Try it.
I'm too short, man. I can't do it.
So, Mark at Skywagon University, another owner interview with Juan Browne. Juan, thanks very much. That was great.
All right.
If you like the video, subscribe on the little link here and click on the little bell. And any comments are welcome. And if you have an interesting plane of your own that you think we would want to do a similar sort of thing with, just get in touch with me and we'll bring it down. We can do something just like this. Thanks very much.
And I want to recommend subscribing to his channel. I insisted that he start a YouTube channel.
He got me into this.
Because he has all this intimate, detailed information, especially about all the Cessna aircraft, the years, the makes, the models, the changes. Any of these details you want on these light aircraft, he's got it, and he's putting them here on YouTube.
Thanks.
All right.